Are we okay? We got to fucking... We've got to do the fucking shit that we for fucking drug abuse. No! Are you listening?
Today we are talking about what it would take for Mr. Penis, aka the owner and proprietor of the Trailer of Failure, the Cornville Condom Company, and the Solo Chomo Sex Shop to get a girlfriend and keep her. I'm going to be putting out the video I promised. With my daughter's sports and my son's activities, it makes it damn near impossible. We can't print anything out currently, so I can't take it with me to work and do it on lunch. So, I will get it done. We all know that he's got problems. And from a psychological standpoint, if you were to sit him down and talk to him, you would have to give him a harsh dose of reality, but you'd also have to give him hope. You'd have to let him know that he can change. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. If I spoke with him, I know I'd be going up against 51 years. Or 52 now, maybe. I don't know, 51, because his birthday's my birthday, that son of a bitch. And that son of a bitch, moving on, I'd have to tell him, Lorne, you have 51 years of bad habits that we have to break. 51 years of being a virgin, being desperate, being abusive, violent, a drunk. You don't know how to speak to people, so we're going to have to start with the most basic skills. How to interact with people. Teach him how to read social cues. Teach him that not every woman that says hello is in love with you, and you don't need to be in love with every woman that says hello. Speak to him about his relationship OCD. Just speak to him about everything that I've talked about. I don't want to get into all of it. But you'd have to let him know that the way he's been doing things is wrong. And if he says, no, I'm good. Lorne, you're 51. You have no prospects. You have no female or male prospects. Maybe I could get him to open up that he's finally bi and he's a homophobe. I don't know. But I do think we'd have to explain to him, break it down, and show him you've been single for so long. You don't know how to do this. You actually told Winnie, I need to learn this shit too. And he'd say, how do you know about the Winnie calls? When I dropped the bomb on him that Emma is actually Winnie, he would probably deny it, get mad, and yell at me. That's just who he is. We know that. So we talked to him about social cues and social interaction. Just teach him how to read the room. We'd have to possibly get another female in there and role play with him. I've seen it done before, and I've done it before. Show, don't tell with Lorne. You have to prove it. I would even get a panel, maybe, of 3 women to talk to him about his behavior. But I have a fear that he would fall in love with all 3 of them and think that they're in there because they want to help him. Get him to open up about what he thinks is a woman showing interest, is a woman showing that she cares about him in a romantic way, not just cares about him hoping that he doesn't go to jail. Debbie didn't care if he went to jail, and he seemed shocked. He thought people would be sitting around moping, oh, I wish Lorne was out of jail, I wish he'd call me, I wish I could talk to him. He didn't get it that no one would miss him. So you'd have to have a breakthrough. And having a breakthrough with Lorne Armstrong, you may have better luck finding a pot of gold out in the wild. You would have to talk to him about the long-term effects of substance abuse and his abusive nature and his patterns of behavior. You'd have to tell him what are desirable traits for women and what aren't. You would have to lay it out in plain English. Give him study materials to take home so he could read it and go over it. Maybe give him a study partner, another guy who's struggling with the same issues. Now, most of them are not going to be as bad off as Lorne, so that's good. Maybe they could talk some sense into him, and then you have to check his answers. We saw what he did when he wrote those papers about why he went to jail and his thoughts, and he was messed up at the time and so confused. Those can no longer be excuses. And you'd have to tell him, Lorne, the only way you will be able to move on with a real woman is if you accept these and you understand there are going to be a lot of questions asked to you from these women. They're taking a big risk should they ever go out with you because of your past, because of what happened in my past. Tell him that all of his excuses, Amanda James, Paula, Nikki, whoever else, Ramona, all of that no longer matters. Because if he clings to it, he'll never move forward. And no woman wants to hear about all this garbage. He is insecure, and that is something else you'd have to talk to him about. You would have to talk to him about constantly thinking a woman is cheating, about trust, and what trust really is. I told you his trust is obsession. All I think about is you. That's what he thinks trust is. We talked about that, and you guys know this. So you'd have to talk to him about trust, and you'd have to talk to him about what women expect and what they would tolerate. Explain to him that constantly accusing a woman of cheating does more damage than he would ever know. He always talks about his changes just coming slow. Please be patient with me. I am trying to, change my shit. He needs to change his shit before he gets with a woman. And that's number one. Lorne, you have to change everything that you tell these women you're trying to change. You have to change them for real. You should probably quit smoking. That's no longer attractive. Get rid of your slurs, your language, because that language would never fly with anyone. When you date a woman, or a man, depending on what he wants, you're also dating their family. You're dating everybody that's in their life. It's not just you. Your opinion is not the only one that matters, Lorne Armstrong. They have been in that woman's life, or man's, that woman's life for a very long time. And what they say has weight that you could never understand. Their first priority is their family. Granted, when you get married, your family becomes your first priority. But as for dating, which is what we're talking about, making him understand that they come first, that's crucial. I don't know what you could do to show him that. Maybe point out that he talks about his mom and that women don't want to hear about his mom all of the time. It's creepy. It's kind of sick. But explain to him that they don't want to hear about that. And he has to understand that if he's putting his family first, they're going to put their family first. Also explain to him that family doesn't always have to be involved. And every time there's an argument or something, and every time you're trying to woo a woman, you don't want to say, my mom will love you. And if you just show her a little bit, my mom will love you. I love my mom's fingers. He's insane when it comes to his mom. I made a video about that. I'm going to make another video about that. I don't know. There's so much to unpack with this. So we explain about the family. We get him to answer some questions about scenarios we give him. When he said that shit to Ramona about a guy yelling and screaming at the daughter or at Ramona or at his daughter, he would pull the guy aside, he said, and ask him, well, why are you screaming at her? Which instantly tells me he thinks screaming at women is okay. You'd have to bring that up and tell him screaming at a woman is not okay. It's not. And to say that you would pull your daughter or your son aside, or your son-in-law, sorry, got confused there for a second. Well, hell, his son, because his son would probably exhibit his behavior if he ever had one. Pull his son aside, his son-in-law aside, did it again, and asking them why they're yelling at his own daughter, that's not normal behavior, and it's not a normal expectation. Have him answer those questions, because if he can't answer them and give you a logical and reasonable answer that is acceptable, have that woman in there that's going to role play. Have her explain to him. Give examples of horrible failures that came about because of behavior like his. You would have to lay out the ground rules. You would have to lay out what is expected in a relationship. How you're expected to talk about problems. Fiscal responsibility. If she's religious, you need to honor that, Lorne, and you don't need to try to take her away from that. You need to explain to him that isolation in a relationship is not healthy. And it's the sign of an abuser and someone who doesn't want anyone else to find out about what he's doing. That is crucial for him to move forward. That is so important to hammer home that she has to have a life, because if he's the only one in her life and he thinks that's okay, he's not ready for a relationship. Speak to him about sex and its importance and its actual place in the relationship. Teach him that women don't think about sex all of the time, and that any guy who likes his girlfriend doesn't necessarily want to have sex with her. It's possible to like a woman and think she has value and think she's a friend without thinking, okay, we're going to take clothes off. And if he argues, which he will, no, you don't understand. No, Lorne, you don't understand. Billions of people on this planet, and you think you're the smartest person. You graduated 87 out of 87. And chances are, and I would tell him this, chances are the woman you are with is going to be smarter than you, and she's going to have more world experience. You need to build off of that. You need to learn. Ask questions. Find out what the real world is like. Take her needs into consideration. Listen to what she's saying. Hear it. Pay attention. Repeat the questions back if you have to. He was sober with Jamie Amy, and we know his behavior was off the chain. I had never seen anything like it. The rage against Jeffrey and Rod. These are guys that don't even exist. He's going to tell whatever woman is next that he was dating a porn star, and he's going to brag about it. That's not what a woman wants to hear. And if she asks him, did you ever have sex? He's probably going to say yes, because remember, he thinks sex is on the phone, it counts. Remember, he told Casey, oh, I'm so ready to fuck you. He was so excited. And he sounded like a teenager who was getting ready to get laid at the prom. But this is on the phone. You two was phone fucking. Explain to him what sex is and what it means. Sometimes it is just for release. But a lot of times you are there for your partner's enjoyment, not just yours. Everything he talked to Kayla about was what he wanted. I can't remember. He asked her, do you want a bubble bath or something else? He gave her a couple questions, but they were his options. I'm guilty of that. I am selfish sometimes, and I don't think about what other people want. I'm trying to change. It's just coming slow. I have tried to change over the years and make myself a better person, and I have succeeded in most ways. But I do know I have my flaws. I get it. We all do. But mine may be more extreme than others because I was untreated bipolar for a long time. It's not an excuse. I never use it as an excuse. I'm just telling you why I struggle with it and what I deal with and what Lorne would have to deal with. He is untreated bipolar. There are so many things that we'd have to deal with emotionally with him, because I made that video about him being a middle schooler perennially. Explain to him that things that are told to him in confidence are no one else's business. I am freaking good at keeping a secret. Maybe that's because I was adopted from an Italian family, huh? And there are secrets that you gotta keep. Shin's Kabbalah is so Italian. So Italian. Thank you, Jordan, for that. You have to explain to him that information given to him is not something you put on the broadcast network and just tell everybody, because you assume you like to have information, as I said. You like to be able to put it out. Look at what I knew before you did. I would say have a practice date with Lorne, because I think it would benefit him. Although he might mistake it and think that they are in a relationship and that the date went really well. Even though she's stressed, Lorne, this is a practice date. I'm trying to prepare you. I'm trying to help you. He would say, well, look at our connection. Look at how good the date was. We should go out again. Argue with me that scenario wouldn't happen, and I'll just laugh at you. The more I talk about it, the more I think that's a bad idea. I think it would help if it was in a professional scenario with another male in the room, because Lorne's a cuck, and he might be more submissive But again, Lorne would probably leave those sessions and go right back to who he is. It would take years of therapy, and by the time it was done, he wouldn't be able to have sex anymore. He'd be in a relationship with a senior citizen because he'd be a senior citizen, and maybe that's what he needs. No sex involved. His testosterone level's so low that he can't be that aggressive, and he can't just rage all of the time. But those are my thoughts. There's so much more I could have said, but that's it for today. I love you guys. I will see you in the next one.